We are going to look at stakeholder analysis, what a stakeholder is and why they are important, how to identify the stakeholders for a project, and then analyze and prioritize. So this will help you to contribute to stakeholder analysis on a project, and you will learn some useful techniques to allow you to do this. A stakeholder can be defined as anybody who has an interest in a project, which means they're affected by it in some way, and in turn they may influence the project. So they are a key source of business requirements and help to set the priorities of those requirements. One approach that will help you to identify the stakeholders for a project is to think of them within three categories. Project stakeholders are members of the project team and development team. Business stakeholders are people or systems within a business, such as management, potential users of the new system, subject matter experts, and internal regulators such as audit. External stakeholders are those outside the business who may have an influence on the project, such as customers, business partners, regulators. The three-step approach to stakeholder management within a project is to identify them, analyze them, understand and prioritize, and then manage them, involve them in the project at the appropriate level. The way most projects are organised is to have a management team and a development team or project team. And both of these will work with the business stakeholders and external stakeholders to deliver a successful outcome. Looking at some specific project roles, the product owner within the management team is responsible for representing and managing the stakeholders. So they will be a key point of contact with them. The product owner may not be able to, or even wish to, be the only person who deals with the stakeholders. And their role may sometimes be part-time anyway. So a key role within the development team will be the business analyst, who will liaise with the stakeholders as well, quite possibly on a day-to-day basis. And communication, collaboration and working with stakeholders is of course a key business analyst skill. In any project, it is extremely useful, if possible, to have business representatives as full members of the project team, not just as part of an external group. A useful technique and an excellent starting point for identifying stakeholders is something called the stakeholder wheel. We've just seen that project stakeholders are the management and project teams. This helps with business stakeholders and external stakeholders by giving you a number of potential categories. So business stakeholders might include business owners, managers, and employees. External stakeholders might include customers, business partners, and others as shown here. The stakeholders for a given project will of course vary, and this is not an exhaustive list, but it is a very good starting point. To illustrate this with an example, within a college administration system, the business stakeholders might include academic staff from the heads of faculty down to individual tutors, also administrators, students, and other college systems. External stakeholders might include business partners such as content providers, placement providers, funding bodies, other colleges, and external regulators. To illustrate that further by mapping it onto the stakeholder wheel, employees might include heads of faculty and department, senior tutors. External tutors, freelancers, may come under the heading of suppliers, as would course content providers. And there may be business customers, and also students are included under the heading customers, although in a college scenario that might be a debating point. Are students within the business or outside? Well, perhaps it doesn't matter as long as they've been identified as stakeholders. Another useful technique for documenting and analysing stakeholders might be a mind map. And here you can see an example based on the college scenario with business stakeholders broken down into academic staff, management and administration, and for example partners broken down into placement providers and content providers. Because it's graphic and visual, a mind map might be easier for some people involved in the project to relate to and understand. For example, you might use this as a starting point for a workshop to confirm that you have analysed stakeholders correctly and fully. You might use it to prioritise stakeholders with key stakeholders highlighted, as you can see here. You have now learned more, I hope, about stakeholder identification and how you can use techniques like the stakeholder wheel or mind maps to do so.